It was a quiet morning on Earth, much like any other. The sun rose gently over the horizon, casting golden hues across cities, towns, and villages. Birds chirped in the trees, cars honked impatiently in traffic, and people went about their daily routines without a second thought. But soon everything changed. High above the planet, something extraordinary began to unfold, an event that would shake humanity to its core. At first, no one noticed anything unusual. The sky looked normal, dotted with fluffy white clouds drifting lazily along. Then came the shimmer. It started as a faint glimmer, almost imperceptible, like heat waves rising from hot pavement during summer. People who happened to glance upward squinted curiously, wondering if their eyes were playing tricks on them. But the shimmer grew stronger, more defined, spreading across vast sections of the sky. Clouds parted unnaturally, revealing patches of deep blue that seemed too bright, too vivid to be natural. Within minutes, gasps erupted around the world. In New York City, office workers leaned out of skyscraper windows to get a better look. In Tokyo, pedestrians stopped mid-stride, pointing upward in awe. Farmers in rural India paused their work, shielding their eyes from the brilliance overhead. What they saw defied explanation. Massive shapes loomed in the heavens, dark silhouettes against the glowing backdrop. They weren't planes or satellites. These objects were far larger, stretching miles across the sky. Their surfaces gleamed metallically, reflecting sunlight in dazzling bursts. The largest of these structures towered ominously above major cities, New York, London, Beijing, Sydney, all at once. Each ship shared the same design, sleek, angular, and bristling with protruding weapon systems that pulsed faintly with energy. Smaller vessels flanked the giants, darting through the atmosphere like insects circling a hive. These ships emitted low-frequency hums that resonated through buildings and sent shivers down spines. Dogs barked wildly, birds took flight en masse, and even the wind seemed to still as though nature itself recognized the gravity of what was unfolding. News outlets scrambled to cover the event, interrupting regular programming with live broadcasts. Anchors stammered through updates, struggling to make sense of the unprecedented phenomenon. Social media exploded with posts, videos, and theories ranging from government conspiracies to alien invasions. Scientists debated furiously, analyzing data and trying to determine whether these ships posed a threat. Military forces mobilized worldwide, jets scrambling into the air to intercept the mysterious crafts. Yet none dared fire a shot. The sheer scale and technology of the visitors made any aggressive action seem futile. Among the billions watching this spectacle unfold was Jason Carter, a 29-year-old astrophysicist based in San Francisco. Jason had always been fascinated by space exploration and extraterrestrial life. Growing up, he devoured books about UFO sightings and spent countless nights gazing through his telescope, hoping to catch a glimpse of something beyond Earth. Now, as he stood on the rooftop of his apartment building, staring up at the colossal structure hovering directly above his city, he felt a mix of terror and exhilaration coursing through him. Jason's heart pounded as he grabbed his camera and recording equipment. He knew this moment could define history, or end it altogether. Forgetting caution, he decided to investigate further. Grabbing his gear, he hurried downstairs and stepped outside, joining the growing crowd gathering in the streets below. Everyone whispered nervously, pointing at the ship and speculating endlessly. Some prayed aloud, clutching religious symbols close to their chests. Others argued heatedly, debating whether the ship signaled doomsday or salvation. Amidst the chaos, Jason pushed forward, determined to get closer. As he approached the base of the towering structure, he noticed smaller scout ships descending gracefully toward the ground. These vessels moved silently, exuding an aura of precision and purpose. One landed just a few blocks away, its surface rippling like liquid metal before stabilizing. Curiosity overwhelmed fear, and Jason quickened his pace. When he arrived, he found himself standing before the craft, its presence both awe-inspiring and intimidating. Without warning, a section of the ship dissolved into thin air, creating an entrance large enough for several people to walk through side by side. Taking a deep breath, Jason stepped inside. The interior was unlike anything he'd ever imagined. Walls shimmered with holographic displays showing images of Earth's history, ancient civilizations, industrial revolutions, modern warfare, environmental disasters. A disembodied voice echoed through the chamber, speaking in perfect English. "You call yourselves humans," it said, its tone clinical yet tinged with disdain. "Your kind has achieved remarkable feats, but at great cost. You destroy your home, fight amongst yourselves, and endanger countless species. And yet, you persist." Jason froze, unsure how to respond. His mind raced with questions, but before he could speak, alarms blared outside. Rushing back to the entrance, he saw the skies darken dramatically as thousands more ships descended from orbit. They filled the air, blotting out the sun and casting long shadows over the landscape. Panic surged through the crowd below. People screamed, scattering in all directions. Cars screeched to a halt as drivers abandoned their vehicles in favor of fleeing on foot. Chaos reigned supreme. Back at the United Nations headquarters in New York, world leaders convened an emergency meeting. Representatives from every nation gathered around a table, faces pale with dread. Military advisors urged immediate action, suggesting preemptive strikes to demonstrate strength. Diplomats countered, arguing that aggression might provoke retaliation. Meanwhile, ordinary citizens awaited answers, glued to their screens as reporters delivered frantic updates. Would humanity survive? Or was this the beginning of the end? Then, just as despair threatened to consume everyone, a broadcast appeared on every screen worldwide. It originated from within one of the Star Destroyers, filling monitors with a live feed of its command center. At the forefront stood a towering figure clad in armor-like attire, its elongated limbs and luminous eyes marking it as unmistakably alien. "I am Commander Xylar of the Galactic Federation," it announced, its voice booming with authority. "We have observed your species for centuries. Your actions have brought you perilously close to extinction. Yet despite your flaws, you possess qualities we find intriguing." Xylar paused, scanning the assembled audience with piercing gaze. "You adapt, you innovate, you endure. We wish to see if those traits can overcome your destructive tendencies. Prove yourselves worthy of survival, or face annihilation." With those chilling words, the transmission ended, leaving humanity teetering on the brink of uncertainty. Could they rise to meet the challenge? Or would their divisions seal their fate? For Jason, the stakes had never felt higher. Standing amidst the remnants of panic in the street, he realized he had a role to play. Whether humanity succeeded or failed depended not only on governments and armies but also on individuals willing to step up. As the enormity of the situation settled over him, Jason resolved to do whatever it took to help his species survive. Little did he know, his journey was only beginning. As Commander Xylar's ominous words echoed across the globe, humanity found itself gripped by a mix of fear, confusion, and determination. The ultimatum delivered by the Galactic Federation left no room for misinterpretation. Prove your worth, or face extinction. For many, this was the moment they'd always feared, an alien invasion straight out of science fiction. But instead of immediate destruction, Earth had been handed a chance to survive. This reprieve came with its own challenges, however, as nations scrambled to respond while ordinary citizens grappled with what it meant to prove themselves worthy. Jason Carter stood frozen in the shadow of the scout ship that had landed near his apartment building. His mind raced with questions. What did the aliens consider proof? How could humanity possibly demonstrate unity when centuries of division still lingered beneath the surface? Despite the overwhelming uncertainty, Jason felt a spark of resolve ignite within him. He wasn't just an observer anymore, he wanted to be part of the solution. With trembling hands, he adjusted his camera and recording device, capturing every detail of the alien craft around him, before stepping back outside. The streets were eerily quiet now. Most people had fled indoors, seeking safety behind locked, doors, and drawn curtains. Only a few brave souls remained, cautiously watching the skies and whispering prayers under their breath. Among them was Sarah, a local journalist who had arrived armed with her notepad and smartphone. She spotted Jason and approached him hesitantly. "What are you doing here?" she asked, her voice tinged with both curiosity and fear. Jason explained what he'd seen inside the ship, the holograms of Earth's history, the cold assessment of humanity's flaws, and shared his belief that they needed to document everything. Sarah nodded thoughtfully. "If we're going to figure this out, someone needs to tell the story," she said firmly. Together they began filming interviews with those who hadn't yet fled, asking how they felt about the situation and what they thought humanity should do next. Their efforts caught the attention of others nearby, including a retired engineer named Mr. Patel and a young activist named Mia. Slowly but surely, a small group formed around Jason and Sarah, united by a shared desire to make sense of the chaos unfolding above them. Meanwhile, world leaders convened once again at the United Nations headquarters. Tensions ran high as representatives argued over how best to proceed. Some advocated for surrender, believing resistance futile against such advanced beings. Others pushed for military mobilization, convinced that showing strength might deter further aggression. In the midst of heated debates, Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a renowned astrophysicist and advisor to the UN, stepped forward. Her calm demeanor commanded respect even in the most chaotic moments. Commander Zylar mentioned qualities they find intriguing: adaptability, innovation, endurance, Elena reminded the assembly. These aren't traits demonstrated through war or submission. They're qualities shown through collaboration and creativity. We need to focus on proving our ability to unite, not divide. Her words struck a chord, prompting murmurs of agreement throughout the chamber. A plan began to take shape. Representatives from all nations would work together to create projects showcasing humanity's potential for peace and progress. These initiatives would then be presented directly to the Galactic Federation as evidence of Earth's worthiness. Back in San Francisco, Jason and his growing team learned about the UN's decision via live broadcasts. Inspired by the call for global cooperation, they decided to contribute in their own way. Using social media platforms, they launched a grassroots campaign encouraging individuals to share stories of human resilience and ingenuity. Hashtags like "Humans Unite" and "Frost Prove Our Worth" spread rapidly, drawing millions of participants worldwide. People posted videos of communities coming together to clean polluted rivers, inventors showcasing groundbreaking technologies, and musicians performing pieces composed collaboratively by artists from different continents. The movement gained momentum overnight, becoming a beacon of hope amid widespread panic. In one particularly moving post, a farmer from Kenya shared footage of his village, working tirelessly to restore degraded land using sustainable farming techniques. Another video featured a group of engineers in Germany, unveiling a prototype for a carbon-neutral aircraft powered entirely by renewable energy. Even children joined in, submitting drawings of peaceful coexistence between humans and extraterrestrials. Each contribution added another layer to the mosaic of humanity's strengths, painting a picture far more complex and hopeful than the Federation's initial assessment suggested. But not everyone embraced the spirit of unity. In some corners of the world, tensions boiled over into violence. Protests erupted in cities where distrust of authority ran deep, with angry mobs accusing governments of conspiring with the aliens. Conspiracy theories multiplied online, claiming that the Galactic Federation was merely a front for secret elites manipulating global events. Amidst the turmoil, Jason's group faced backlash from skeptics who dismissed their efforts as naive or pointless. "Do you really think posting videos will save us?" sneered a man during one heated exchange outside a community center, where the team had set up a makeshift headquarters. Jason didn't flinch. "It's not just about the videos," he replied evenly. "It's about reminding ourselves and showing them that we're capable of more than destruction. If we give up now, we've already lost." His conviction silenced the critic, earning nods of approval from bystanders. Days turned into weeks as humanity worked tirelessly to meet the Federation's challenge. Teams of scientists, artists, engineers, and activists collaborated across borders, fueled by a newfound sense of purpose. Jason's group became instrumental in coordinating these efforts, leveraging their online platform to connect innovators and amplify success stories. They also organized local events, inviting people to brainstorm ideas and pitch solutions. One evening, during a meeting held in a packed auditorium, a young girl named Lily stood up shyly and proposed creating a universal translator, a device capable of facilitating instant communication between any two beings, regardless of language barriers. Her idea sparked enthusiastic applause and quickly gained traction among tech developers. As the deadline approached, excitement mingled with anxiety. Would their efforts be enough? Could humanity truly rise above its divisions in time to impress the Galactic Federation? On the final day, representatives from every nation gathered aboard Xylar's flagship, accompanied by a delegation of civilians chosen to represent the broader population. Among them was Jason, selected for his role in spearheading the grassroots campaign. As the massive ship's interior unfolded before him, he marveled at its intricate design, feeling both awestruck and humbled. The presentation began with a montage, highlighting humanity's achievements since the Federation's arrival. Images of deserts transformed into lush greenery, underwater habitats thriving with marine life, and solar farms stretching across barren landscapes flashed across holographic screens. Next came demonstrations of technological breakthroughs. The Universal Translator translating real-time conversations between delegates speaking dozens of languages, a compact fusion reactor generating limitless clean energy, and a treaty signed by every country pledging mutual aid over conflict. Each project underscored humanity's capacity for cooperation and innovation. When the lights dimmed and the room fell silent, all eyes turned to Commander Xylar. The towering alien surveyed the assembled crowd, its expression inscrutable. For several agonizing moments, no one spoke. Then slowly, Xylar nodded. "Perhaps you are worth sparing," it declared, its voice resonating through the chamber. Relief washed over the delegates, followed by cautious optimism. The Federation agreed to withdraw their fleet but left behind advanced technology as a gift and a warning. Humanity now knew it wasn't alone in the cosmos, and its future depended on staying united. For Jason, standing amidst the cheering crowd, the experience was surreal. He realized that while the immediate threat had passed, the journey was far from over. The aliens' visit had forced humanity to confront its flaws and embrace its potential. And though the road ahead promised challenges, Jason felt confident that if people continued to work together, they could overcome anything, even the vast unknown stretching beyond the stars. The days following Commander Xylar's verdict were a whirlwind of emotions for humanity. Relief swept across the globe like a tidal wave, but it was accompanied by an undercurrent of unease. The Galactic Federation had spared Earth, for now, but their parting words lingered in everyone's minds. Stay united. Those two simple words carried immense weight, serving as both a lifeline and a warning. Humanity had been given a second chance, but it came with strings attached. The aliens' technology, left behind as a gift, promised advancements that could revolutionize life on Earth. Yet, they also served as a reminder of how fragile human existence truly was in the face of cosmic power. Jason Carter returned to San Francisco feeling drained yet invigorated. His role in the grassroots campaign had thrust him into the spotlight, earning him recognition from news outlets and organizations worldwide. Strangers approached him on the streets, thanking him for his efforts during those tense weeks. Some even called him a hero, though Jason didn't see himself that way. To him, he'd simply done what anyone else would have done, stepped up when the stakes were highest. But deep down, he couldn't deny the sense of pride swelling within him. For the first time in his life, he felt like he belonged to something bigger than himself. Back at his apartment, Jason gathered his team for a debriefing session. Sarah, Mia, Mr. Patel, and several others crammed into his small living room. their faces glowing with exhaustion and triumph. They'd spent countless hours coordinating projects, spreading awareness, and documenting humanity's collective response to the alien ultimatum. Now, with the immediate crisis over, they faced a new challenge, deciding what to do next. "We can't let this momentum die," Sarah said firmly, leaning forward in her chair. "This is our chance to build something lasting, to create real change." Her words resonated with the group, sparking a lively discussion about potential initiatives. Ideas flowed freely, establishing global networks to tackle climate change, developing educational programs focused on interstellar diplomacy, and creating platforms for marginalized communities to share their voices. Each suggestion reflected the lessons learned during the Federation's visit, the importance of collaboration, empathy, and innovation. Jason listened intently, jotting down notes as the conversation unfolded. He felt inspired by the passion radiating from his teammates, but he also knew that turning these ideas into reality wouldn't be easy. Resources were limited, and skepticism remained rampant in certain circles. Conspiracy theorists continued to spread fear, accusing governments of hiding ulterior motives behind the Federation's gifts. Meanwhile, corporations eyed the alien technology greedily, eager to exploit its potential for profit. Balancing idealism with pragmatism would be key if they hoped to succeed. Determined to keep the movement alive, Jason proposed launching a foundation dedicated to fostering unity and progress. He envisioned it as a hub where individuals from all walks of life could contribute their skills and ideas toward building a better future. The group enthusiastically supported the idea, volunteering to help draft plans and secure funding. Over the next few weeks, they worked tirelessly, reaching out to influential figures and rallying support from communities around the world. Their efforts paid off when a wealthy philanthropist agreed to fund the initiative, providing them with the resources needed to get started. As the foundation took shape, Jason found himself traveling frequently, meeting with leaders, activists, and innovators who shared his vision. In Geneva, he attended a summit hosted by the United Nations, where delegates discussed strategies for implementing the Federation's technology responsibly. Scientists presented groundbreaking research on harnessing the energy source embedded in the alien reactors, while ethicists debated the moral implications of integrating such advanced tools into society. Jason contributed insights gleaned from his experiences, emphasizing the need for transparency and inclusivity in decision-making processes. One evening, after a long day of meetings, Jason wandered through the city streets, taking in the vibrant atmosphere. Cafes buzzed with conversations about the latest developments, and billboards displayed messages promoting peace and cooperation. It struck him how much had changed since the Federation's arrival. People seemed more aware of their interconnectedness, more willing to listen to perspectives different from their own. Even small acts of kindness, like holding doors open for strangers or helping someone carry groceries, felt imbued with deeper meaning in light of recent events. But not everything was rosy. Back home, tensions simmered beneath the surface. In some regions, economic disparities widened as industries struggled to adapt to the rapid technological changes brought by the Federation's gifts. Factory workers feared losing their jobs to automated systems powered by alien tech, while farmers worried about being replaced by genetically modified crops engineered for maximum yield. Protests erupted in cities, with demonstrators demanding fair treatment and equitable distribution of resources. Jason watched these events unfold with concern, knowing that addressing these issues would require patience and compromise. To tackle these challenges head-on, Jason's foundation launched a series of workshops aimed at bridging divides between communities. Facilitators trained participants in conflict resolution, cultural sensitivity, and sustainable practices. One memorable session brought together executives from major corporations, labor union representatives, and environmental activists to brainstorm solutions that benefited all parties involved. Though disagreements occasionally flared, the attendees ultimately reached compromises that prioritized both economic growth and ecological preservation. Meanwhile, scientists continued unraveling the mysteries of the alien technology. Researchers discovered that the universal translator operated using quantum entanglement principles previously thought impossible to apply practically. This breakthrough opened doors to entirely new fields of study, inspiring young minds to pursue careers in science and engineering. Schools incorporated lessons on interstellar communication and galactic history into their curricula, preparing students for a future where humanity might encounter other intelligent species. In one particularly inspiring project, a team of linguists used the translator to decode ancient texts written in long-forgotten languages. By doing so, they unearthed forgotten knowledge about early civilizations, shedding light on humanity's shared heritage. These findings fostered a renewed sense of connection among people from diverse backgrounds, reinforcing the idea that, despite differences, everyone was part of the same story. As months passed, Jason noticed subtle shifts in societal attitudes. Conversations once dominated by fear and mistrust began centering on hope and possibility. Art galleries showcased works celebrating unity and resilience, while musicians composed anthems urging listeners to embrace diversity. Social media platforms transformed into spaces for constructive dialogue rather than divisive arguments. Even political debates became less polarized, as leaders recognized the necessity of working together to navigate the uncharted territory humanity now inhabited. Still, Jason knew the journey was far from over. The Federation's warning loomed large in his mind: stay united. He understood that maintaining harmony required constant effort and vigilance. History had shown time and again how quickly divisions could resurface, threatening hard-won progress. Determined to prevent regression, Jason redoubled his commitment to the Foundation, expanding its reach and impact. Under his leadership, the organization established partnerships with international bodies, ensuring that decisions regarding the use of alien technology remained transparent and inclusive. During one of his trips abroad, Jason visited a remote village in Africa where residents had implemented innovative farming techniques inspired by the Federation's agricultural advancements. Fields once barren now teemed with life, producing bountiful harvests that sustained entire communities. Children played happily amidst rows of crops, their laughter echoing through the air. Watching them, Jason felt a profound sense of fulfillment. This was why he'd fought so hard: to give people opportunities to thrive, to dream of brighter tomorrows. Yet, even in moments of triumph, Jason never forgot the fragility of it all. The memory of standing aboard Xylar's flagship stayed etched in his mind, a stark reminder of how close humanity had come to annihilation. It fueled his resolve to ensure that no generation ever faced such peril again. With each passing day, he grew more confident that humanity could rise to the occasion, that together they could forge a path worthy of the stars above. And so, Jason pressed onward, guided by the belief that unity wasn't just a goal, it was a responsibility. For every step taken toward progress, there were countless more to follow. But as long as people continued striving side by side, anything was possible, even coexisting peacefully among the cosmos. Months had passed since the Galactic Federation's departure, and humanity was beginning to settle into its new reality. The alien technology left behind had already started transforming the world in ways both profound and unexpected. Cities gleamed with energy-efficient buildings powered by fusion reactors, deserts bloomed with vegetation thanks to advanced irrigation systems, and diseases once thought incurable were being eradicated through medical breakthroughs derived from Federation designs. Yet, for all the progress, tensions simmered beneath the surface. Humanity's newfound unity was fragile, held together by shared fear of what might happen if they failed to live up to the Federation's expectations. Jason Carter found himself at the center of this delicate balancing act. His foundation, now known as the Unity Horizon Initiative, UHI, had grown exponentially, becoming a global force for collaboration and innovation. From its headquarters in San Francisco, Jason coordinated projects spanning continents, everything from reforestation efforts in South America to intercultural exchange programs in Europe. Despite his success, he often felt overwhelmed by the sheer scale of responsibility resting on his shoulders. Every decision mattered. Every misstep could unravel the fragile peace humanity had worked so hard to achieve. One evening, after another, grueling day of meetings, Jason sat alone in his office, staring out at the city skyline bathed in twilight. The hum of activity outside reminded him of how much had changed since the Federation's visit. People moved with purpose now, driven by a collective desire to prove their worth, not just to the aliens but to each other. But Jason couldn't shake the nagging feeling that not everyone shared this vision. There were still those who saw the Federation's gifts as tools for personal gain rather than instruments of global betterment. His thoughts were interrupted by a knock on the door. It was Mia, one of the original members of his team and now UHI's Director of Outreach. She entered carrying a stack of documents, her expression tense. "We've got a problem," she said, placing the papers on his desk. Jason frowned, gesturing for her to explain. Mia took a deep breath before launching into an explanation. A multinational corporation had secretly reverse-engineered parts of the alien technology and was planning to launch a private space mission without consulting international authorities. Their goal? To establish mining operations on nearby asteroids, exploiting resources for profit. Jason listened in stunned silence. This wasn't just unethical, it was dangerous. The Federation had made it clear that humanity's survival depended on cooperation, not competition. If word got out that some groups were prioritizing greed over unity, it could jeopardize everything they'd worked for. Worse yet, it risked provoking the Federation's wrath. "Do we know who's behind this?" Jason asked finally, his voice low. Mia nodded grimly. "A conglomerate called Stellar Ventures. They've been lobbying governments to deregulate space exploration, claiming it's humanity's destiny to expand beyond Earth. Determined to stop them, Jason assembled an emergency meeting with key stakeholders, including representatives from the United Nations, environmental organizations, and independent watchdog groups. Together, they drafted a statement condemning Stellar Ventures' actions and calling for immediate regulation of alien technology usage. Simultaneously, Jason tasked his team with gathering evidence to expose the company's plans to the public. He knew transparency would be crucial. People needed to understand the stakes involved. The campaign gained traction quickly. Social media erupted with outrage as leaked documents revealed Stellar Ventures' intentions. Protesters gathered outside corporate offices, chanting slogans like "Unity over greed" and "Protect our future." Journalists dug deeper, uncovering ties between the company and corrupt officials willing to turn a blind eye in exchange for financial incentives. Faced with mounting pressure, several governments announced investigations into Stellar Ventures' activities, halting their plans indefinitely. Though relieved by the outcome, Jason couldn't help but feel uneasy. This incident highlighted a troubling truth. Humanity's old habits died hard. Self-interest and short-term gains still tempted many, threatening to derail the progress they'd made. To combat this, Jason proposed creating an oversight body tasked with monitoring the ethical use of alien technology, composed of experts from various fields and representatives from marginalized communities. The council would ensure decisions prioritized collective well-being over individual profit. After weeks of negotiations, the proposal received unanimous approval from world leaders. As the council took shape, Jason turned his attention to another pressing issue: education. While technological advancements continued reshaping society, not everyone had equal access to knowledge about the Federation or their gifts. In poorer regions, misinformation spread rapidly, fueling distrust and paranoia. Determined to bridge this gap, Jason launched a global educational initiative aimed at demystifying the alien technology and fostering understanding of humanity's place in the universe. Schools adopted new curricula emphasizing science, ethics, and interstellar diplomacy, while mobile units traveled to remote areas, offering workshops and resources to underserved communities. One such unit arrived in a small village in India, where children eagerly gathered around holographic displays showcasing the inner workings of the universal translator. For many, it was their first exposure to concepts like quantum mechanics and extraterrestrial life. Teachers encouraged questions, sparking lively discussions about what it meant to be human and how best to represent Earth on a galactic stage. Watching these interactions via video calls, Jason felt a renewed sense of hope. Education wasn't just about imparting facts, it was about empowering future generations to make informed choices. Meanwhile, scientists continued unlocking the secrets of the alien tech. Researchers discovered that the materials used in the Star Destroyers possessed properties capable of repairing damaged ecosystems. By applying these principles, they developed methods to restore coral reefs, purify polluted rivers, and even revive extinct species. Conservationists hailed these breakthroughs as miracles, crediting them with averting ecological collapse. Yet Jason remained cautious. Such power came with risks, and he insisted on strict guidelines to prevent misuse. Despite these achievements, challenges persisted. Economic inequality worsened in some areas as industries struggled to adapt to rapid changes. Factory workers displaced by automation protested alongside farmers whose livelihoods were threatened by genetically modified crops. Recognizing the need for balance, Jason partnered with labor unions and agricultural cooperatives to create retraining programs and sustainable business models. These initiatives helped ease transitions but also underscored the complexity of navigating a post-Federation world. Amidst these struggles, moments of beauty emerged. Artists inspired by the aliens' visit created breathtaking installations, blending traditional craftsmanship with futuristic designs. Musicians composed symphonies incorporating sounds recorded from alien ships, evoking emotions that transcended language barriers. Writers penned stories imagining peaceful encounters with extraterrestrial beings, planting seeds of optimism in readers' hearts. Culture itself evolved, reflecting humanity's growing awareness of its place within a vast, interconnected cosmos. Yet, no matter how far they progressed, Jason never forgot the fragility of their situation. The Federation's warning echoed in his mind daily: stay united. He understood that maintaining harmony required constant vigilance and effort. History had shown time and again how easily divisions could resurface, undoing years of hard work. To prevent regression, Jason expanded UHI's focus beyond practical solutions to include initiatives promoting empathy and cultural exchange. Programs pairing students from different backgrounds fostered friendships across borders, while art, exhibits celebrating diversity reminded viewers of their shared humanity. During one particularly poignant event, Jason attended a concert featuring musicians from conflicting nations performing together. As violins harmonized with sitars and drums beat in unison, tears welled up in his eyes. Here was proof that despite differences, people could find common ground and joy in collaboration. It reinforced his belief that unity wasn't just a strategy, it was a way of life. Still, Jason knew the road ahead would be fraught with obstacles. The Federation's visit had forced humanity to confront uncomfortable truths about itself, exposing weaknesses as well as strengths. But he also believed deeply in humanity's capacity for growth. With every challenge overcome, they grew stronger, wiser and more resilient. And though the stars above remained distant and mysterious, Jason felt confident that humanity was ready to face whatever lay beyond, as long as they stood together. For Jason, the journey was ongoing, a testament to the enduring spirit of those who refused to give up when faced with uncertainty. Each day brought new opportunities to learn, to build, and to dream. And as long as people chose to embrace these possibilities, anything was achievable, even coexisting peacefully among the Aiger stars. Years had passed since the Galactic Federation's departure, and humanity had grown in ways no one could have predicted. The alien technology left behind continued to reshape the world, pushing boundaries of innovation and redefining what it meant to be human. Cities thrived with clean energy, ecosystems healed under sustainable practices, and communication barriers dissolved thanks to the universal translator. Yet despite these advancements, humanity remained acutely aware of its precarious position in the universe. The Federation's warning still loomed large: stay united or face annihilation. Jason Carter, now a household name synonymous with resilience and leadership, stood on the balcony of his office overlooking San Francisco. The city below was a testament to progress. Skyscrapers gleamed with solar panels, streets buzzed with electric vehicles, and parks overflowed with greenery restored by alien-inspired methods. But Jason's gaze carried a weight of responsibility. He knew better than anyone that unity wasn't something you achieved once and then forgot about. It required constant nurturing, especially when old habits threatened to resurface. The Unity Horizon Initiative, UHI, had become a cornerstone of global cooperation, but even within its ranks, cracks occasionally appeared. Disagreements over resource allocation, differing cultural perspectives, and lingering economic disparities tested the organization's resolve. Jason often found himself mediating disputes or reminding people why they'd come together in the first place. "We're not just building a better Earth," he would say during tense meetings. "We're proving to ourselves and to whoever else is out there that we deserve a place among the stars." One morning, as Jason sipped coffee while reviewing reports, an urgent message flashed across his screen. It came from Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the astrophysicist who had played a pivotal role at the United Nations during the Federation's visit. Her tone was grave. "Jason, I think we've detected something unusual. You need to see this." Intrigued and slightly alarmed, Jason immediately arranged for a secure video call. When the connection established, Elena's face filled the monitor. Behind her, monitors displayed complex data streams and star charts. "We've picked up signals coming from deep space," she explained, pointing to a cluster of blinking indicators. "They match the energy signatures of the Federation's ships, but they're faint, like echoes. Whatever it is, it's moving toward us." A chill ran down Jason's spine. Was this another test? Had the Federation returned to check on humanity's progress? Or worse, had they sent someone or something to enforce their ultimatum? Elena assured him it was too early to jump to conclusions, but she urged caution. Together, they alerted international authorities and convened an emergency summit at the United Nations headquarters. As news of the incoming signal spread, panic rippled through society. Memories of the Federation's arrival were still fresh, and many feared the worst. Social media lit up with speculation, ranging from hopeful theories about friendly visitors to apocalyptic predictions of invasion. Jason worked tirelessly to calm fears, appearing on broadcast to remind people of how far they'd come. "We've faced challenges before and we've overcome them together," he said firmly. "This is no different. Let's approach this with curiosity, not fear." Days turned into weeks as scientists analyzed the signal. Observatories around the globe collaborated, pooling resources and expertise to decipher its origin. Slowly, a pattern emerged. The signal wasn't random. It contained structured information resembling a form of communication. Teams using the Universal Translator struggled to decode it, but fragments began to surface. Words like curiosity and potential and growth appeared repeatedly, suggesting intent rather than aggression. Encouraged by these findings, Jason proposed sending a response, gathering representatives from diverse fields, scientists, artists, philosophers, and spiritual leaders. He helped craft a message encapsulating humanity's journey since the Federation's visit. They included images of restored landscapes, recordings of music created by intercultural collaborations, and written accounts of lessons learned. At the heart of the message was a simple declaration: "We are learning, we are growing. We hope to meet you again someday." The transmission was broadcast into space, aimed at the source of the signal. For days, humanity waited anxiously, glued to their screens as telescopes scanned the heavens for a reply. Then, late one night, it came. A response. Unlike the fragmented messages they'd received earlier, this one was clear and concise. Translated through the Universal Translator, it read, "Your efforts have been noted. Continue forward." Relief swept across the planet like a tidal wave. People celebrated in streets and squares, hugging strangers and cheering loudly. Fireworks lit up skies worldwide, marking the moment as a turning point in human history. Jason watched the festivities unfold from his office, tears streaming down his face. All the sacrifices, all the sleepless nights, all the battles fought against division and despair. It had been worth it. But the response also carried a sobering reminder. Humanity's journey wasn't over. The Federation, or whoever had sent, the message had acknowledged their progress but offered no guarantees of protection or acceptance. The responsibility to maintain unity and continue evolving rested squarely on humanity's shoulders. In the months that followed, Jason threw himself into expanding UHI's reach. He envisioned a future where humanity didn't merely survive, but thrived, embracing its role as stewards of both Earth and potentially other worlds. New projects focused on preparing for eventual contact with extraterrestrial civilizations, including training programs for diplomats skilled in interstellar relations and research initiatives exploring ethical implications of space colonization. Education remained a cornerstone of these efforts. Schools incorporated lessons on cosmic citizenship, teaching children to view themselves not just as members of nations or cultures, but as part of a larger galactic community. Universities launched interdisciplinary courses combining science, philosophy, and art to explore humanity's relationship with the universe. Artists created murals depicting humans reaching out to alien beings, symbols of hope etched onto walls of cities worldwide. Even entertainment reflected this shift. Films and books imagined peaceful encounters with advanced species, inspiring audiences to dream of coexistence beyond Earth. One particularly popular novel featured a young girl solving a crisis between humans and aliens using empathy and creativity, a story directly inspired by Jason's own experiences. When asked about it during interviews, Jason smiled humbly. If my work can inspire even one person to believe in the power of unity, then I've done my job. Yet amidst the optimism, Jason never lost sight of reality. Challenges persisted: economic inequality, political tensions, environmental threats, but they were met with renewed determination. Communities rallied together to address issues head-on, drawing strength from the knowledge that humanity's survival depended on collective action. Jason often reminded people that every small act mattered, whether it was planting a tree, helping a neighbor, or simply choosing kindness over conflict. On the 5th anniversary of the Federation's visit, a global celebration was held in New York City. Representatives from every nation gathered at the United Nations headquarters, joined by millions watching via live stream. Speakers shared stories of triumph and resilience, highlighting how far humanity had come since those terrifying days when the sky parted to reveal star destroyers. As the event drew to a close, Jason took the stage, greeted by thunderous applause. Standing before the crowd, Jason felt a profound sense of gratitude, not just for himself, but for everyone who had contributed to humanity's transformation. Today, he began, his voice steady yet filled with emotion, we stand united, not because we were forced to, but because we chose to. We chose to rise above our differences, to embrace our shared humanity, and to look toward the stars, with hope instead of fear. He paused, letting his words sink in before continuing. Our journey is far from over. There will be more challenges, more tests of our resolve. But if we continue to move forward together, with courage, compassion, and curiosity, I believe there's nothing we can't achieve. Let's keep proving to ourselves and to the universe that we belong among the stars. As fireworks erupted overhead, painting the night sky with bursts of color, Jason stepped back from the podium, allowing the moment to speak for itself. Around him, people cheered, cried, and embraced, united by a shared vision of a brighter future. For the first time in human history, the vast unknown stretching beyond Earth no longer seemed so daunting. Instead, it promised endless possibilities for discovery, for connection, for growth. And somewhere, light years away, perhaps the Federation, or another civilization, watched silently, waiting to see what humanity would do next. Whatever the future held, Jason knew one thing for certain: humanity was ready. Together they had faced the ultimate test and emerged stronger than ever before.